What is up, ladies and gents? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, RAF ESPARZA, coming to you with another great installment of The Bullpen, a joint venture between Inside BJJ and the Grappling Hour. How are you doing today? Well, thank you. I know rhetorically you asked me back. How am I doing? I'm doing great. We saw some folks in the Instagram already saying hello to us before we're on air. That makes me happy. Makes me very pleased. And I'm here to say, not only am I excited to see you guys, but it is Oscar week, which is a huge week for us out here in Los Angeles. So I'll ask this: how many of the Oscar nominated films have you seen? And I'm going to say that jumping to my co-host, Tim Freeman. Tim, how many Oscar nominated films have you seen?
I have I don't even know who's nominated. That's how out of touch I am with the Academy Awards. Probably zero. We're supposed to go see a movie tonight called Riff Raff. I doubt that has been nominated for an Oscar, but I might catch one or two, maybe. I don't know, man. So I'm not a huge. The Academy Awards don't mean that much to me. Not anymore.
That's fine. It pays the rent here. We're going to go on over to Kevin. Kevin, how many Oscar nominated films have you seen?
Did Dune 2 make it?
Dune 2 is nominated for Best Picture.
I knew it. Lisan Al-Gaib. I knew it.
What is that?
Never doubted him. You haven't seen Dune 2, huh?
Nah, dude. You know, here's my issue.
Lisan Al-Gaib.
What does that mean? What are you talking about?
It's something like The Chosen, or I don't.
Wait. It would be great if you just liked a certain chant but didn't know what it meant. You're just like, I don't know, man. It sounded super cool.
It's a meme, bro. It's like he's the foretold warrior. I don't fucking.
Every time I see that movie, I try to take it seriously, and then it's like, this is a movie about spice. And I go, I don't know that I can take that seriously with my face. Having said that, 25 years ago, I did laugh at the politics of Star Wars that seem more and more real every single day. So who knows? Perhaps it'll find itself very true when we're all stuck in a desert. Nonetheless, we have major business. It's been a while. We didn't have an episode last week, unfortunately, but thank you guys for coming back, saying hello to us. We have a lot of topics to get to, but before we get to the board and we talk about all those things, I wanted to check in on you both. Gentlemen, it is the end of February. That means we're already 2 months in. How have you both been? Everybody here has been busy, but let's take a state of the union here. Tim, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing really well. I'm just booking my trip to Turkey to get the de Blasien hair system. I can't wait to come back. I'm going full flow, dude. I'm going to do it. I'm going wide. I'm going high, and I'm going way far out in front of my face. Like, it's going to be a real detriment, basically. That's the kind of hair that I'm going to have.
Tim,
outside of that...
If people go back on your Instagram far enough, they can see Tim with hair. And I knew the tail end of Tim with hair. And Tim with hair was a powerful guy. Are you thinking that Tim with hair makes a return? And also, what does that do to our balds versus glasses sort of debacle that we've been having here on the show?
It changes it up, because once you appear on Team Bald, pretty much everybody thinks of you as a bald guy, even if you get your hair back, right? It's like, yes, but you used to be bald, therefore we don't really value your hair the same as, like, say, Kevin's hair, right? I could have the best hair system in the world, and you'd be like, yeah,
I used to be bald, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. So... I think I don't think it would add power to my game. I actually think it would weaken me a little bit. It'd make me a little weaker. So I got to really lean into the bald guy thing, man.
Kevin, how do you feel about the possibility of a second hair person on this show?
I don't think had hair Tim exists. I think that's a myth that the old people tell. That's the older generations have spread that rumor. That's not true. Urban mythology.
When I see those old pictures, it was before we were friends and Tim was on all the gear. So I look at it.
So you never saw it in person?
Hold on.
Yeah, he did.
Hold on. I did. But this is the Tim that I know now way better. So it's very difficult for you to ask, do you have memories of being in childhood? And you go, yeah, I remember a bike. And we used to ride it around the block. Like, that's the type of issue I'm having here, which is we were at EBI. Oh, did he have hair then? Man, it's fading. I don't know. But yes, I do recollect photos more, though, in person those days. So let me ask this. I asked him how he's doing. Kevin, how are you doing? Last week, very, very busy, but busy is good. I like people being busy. So how are things going on your side of the world?
Busy, mostly good busy. There's been some bad busy. I herniated a couple of discs. I'm currently under attack by my cat. Sorry, viewers. He literally, every time I stop touching him, he scratches me. It hurts. So I keep petting him, and then I'm like, okay, are we good? Are we chill? Have we moved on? And I lean away, and then he scratches me immediately. He's demanding. Sorry. But yeah, I herniated a couple of discs, so I've not been training. And I thought that would free up a lot more time. Like I'd be a lot less busy. And then I discovered that going to physical therapy 3 times a week and like getting injections and stuff like that also takes time. Yeah. Didn't really do much for me. I'm just like getting fatter. It's like I have the same amount of not free time. I'm just gradually getting softer.
Okay, I'm going to avoid the main joke there, but I will go to this one, which is, I think the thing I hate the most about getting injured, obviously I hate time away from training, but it always happens right when I'm on like the best run possible for being in shape. Like I feel like anytime I'm in peak shape, injury's coming. Like I have just built it into the system because there are some times where I go, man, I've lost a lot of weight. I'm getting down to goals. And then all of a sudden injury happens and I go, and I'm back to fat. All right. That was fun. It was a good run, everybody.
I was 8 pounds down into like a super disciplined, I'm not drinking. I'm only eating my meal prep. I'm living on my nutrition plan. I was doing that for like 4 weeks. Felt great, training hard, and then back goes out. Yeah. I'm like, of course it does.
Let this be a lesson. Never try to get into shape or do anything. Yeah. So I think that's really the takeaway.
Love yourself. Embrace body positivity.
Indeed. Speaking of which, look at this.
What's up, Wallow?
The very fit and cut now. Wallow saying hello. Wallow. No jokes yet. So it's a promising start. Wallow coming in very kind here. I want to start with this. Before we go to the board, there was something that hit the internet this week. I just want to take a minute to just kind of address it. And it was mostly off of Reddit BJJ. And the reason why I want to bring this up is it does appear that this week, yes, there was a commentator or a commenter on Reddit BJJ who said that they had experienced problems with somebody within the jiu-jitsu community. And that post was about Jacob Couch. It's a very unfortunate situation, but we here applaud Emma for sharing her story and coming forward with that. It's not easy. This is a very weird sport, but we did want to endorse some support for that. And we hope that somebody sharing this and being brave enough to share that story encourages other people to step forward and say their kind of issues that they have had or dealt with within the sport, because we know a lot of stories that happen like this, and it is tempting to not talk about it or focus only on the fun stories here, but we do try to give time to a little bit of everything and everyone. So in doing so, you can see there have been posts about it, and there was even, I believe, Inverted Gear did drop Jacob Couch as a athlete. So there is some action being taken. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out from there. But to Emma, we just wanted to voice our support and say thank you so much for sharing your story. And for the most part, I don't say this often, thank you to Reddit BJJ. You were actually incredibly kind to this story. I was very nervous stories like this would get downvoted because sometimes it's somebody you like or you've created an affinity with due to relations here in jiu-jitsu, but they were very kind about that story. And if you have not read it, I would encourage you to look it up. It is pinned on the Reddit BJJ post. So definitely, I think if you own a gym, you owe it to yourself to read something like that. And if you are a member of the community, I think it is important to read that and continue to take hopefully some lessons from it and not be the problem. So thank you for that. Gentlemen, why don't we go ahead and now transition to the board? We have a lot to get to today, and I'm excited because it looks like we have some topics that were holdovers from that. And I'll go ahead and start with this. It does look like this. Yes, it does seem that it was leaked that Mikey and Gordon are going to do a fight pass sort of thing together. What is it with the UFC? We're not quite clear. Is it another version of the Ultimate Grappler, or as Craig Jones referred to it as, Tug? Hard to tell, but I'm going to go to each of our panelists here to get their take on the matter. Tim, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts on the possibility of an Ultimate Fighter style grappling show?
Well, it has to happen now that you busted out the name Tug. I mean, that's it's genius. I think Flow Grappling tried to do something like this already, and I don't think it panned out for them. But having said that, I think if anyone can pull it off, the UFC can pull it off. They've made a huge, tremendous, giant, monumental thing out of the Ultimate Fighter. I don't think that you would see that out of Tug. I think Tug would just be like, a small piece of that style of show in terms of the audience it would draw, but it would be compelling. And if you get Gordon and Mikey on there, if they play it like My Buddy and they're best friends, then, that's not going to be that great. But if you get Gordon to really rile Mikey up, I could see some chairs getting thrown and some doors getting punched, some pizza boxes getting slammed down, like 100%. I would definitely tune in and watch that. So please do it. Do it for us. We'd like to see it.
Thank you. I'm going to go over to you, Kevin. What are your thoughts on this show, and what is the format? Like, do you have any predictions as to what you may see on this show?
I got no idea what they're going to do. I'm going to tell you what they should do, though.
Okay.
Diners, drive-ins. Like, you should have Gordon and Mikey, but on the road, having to share a car, maybe the tiny little Miata, I don't know, and they got to, agree on stuff before they can do anything. Neither of them can eat until they agree on what they're ordering, and they both have to eat the same thing. The same quantities, the same everything. I really want them to have to come together and compromise, and I want to see what happens to Gordon when Mikey insists we're eating 7 plates of pasta. I really think Mikey can probably out-eat Gordon. And every morning they start their routine, and Gordon's doing his stack and injecting up, and Mikey's just sitting there, and he can't not say something. That's what you should do. Forget grappling. They never once touch a mat. They never go into a jiu-jitsu gym. It's just them going from diner to dive in to whatever. I don't know how it actually goes, but whatever Guy Fieri does. Gordon's already got the hair. Run it.
I'm glad that you said whatever Guy Fieri does. Because that is a genre of TV, just in case you were not really aware of what it is. Here's what I'll say about this. I think it's conceptually terrible, but I root for jiu-jitsu, so I'm a little bit on a stuck vehicle here because I want it to succeed. They're two of the biggest names. I don't know many concepts that work. And you guys pitching these buddy cop, these road trip, these sort of ancillary nonsense things that would help with some of the narrative aren't probably far off on what they're going to do as the little interstitials or the talking head moments when they go do something active. Because they're trying to play off the clash of these two very different personalities. However, I'm not interested in seeing them talk. There's very few subjects that they do talk about individually that I think to myself, this is must-see television.
I'm only interested in seeing them talk.
I did see you crouch down oh no, Raph, I'm so anti whatever you're on.
It would be the best 10 weeks of content for the bullpen we have ever seen. We would never have to do more.
We'd pivot into just being a show about that show.
A recap show every single week. So, okay, let me bring this up to you because clearly neither of you have worked in television. You're really going to put a series of producers, coordinators, editors through that misery, to look through that footage, to go through it multiple days, log it, and say, did you watch the conversation between Mikey and Gordon? Yeah. Have you logged all of that? Yeah. Well, what was special about it? Nothing. They got into an argument over an article, and I think at one point Gordon might have called Mikey a trans person. I don't know. I'm very confused now.
You could do whole montages of just both of them, of just these guys bringing up things they've already brought up and said, just continuing to not let it go for the entire 10 weeks.
You said you'd quit using. Shut up.
I just don't see why we couldn't have had meat on the pizza.
Okay, so those are innocent versions of it. The real version I want to see is when they do a bet, and like, let's say it's team versus team, and Gordon puts up a bet that goes, if my team wins, then you have to go on steroids. Like, then maybe I'm back in. But I don't see any version of it. And the version of the diners and drive-ins that you were pitching here, Kev, I'm in it for this reason, is that you know that Gordon's stomach cannot handle any part of it. So for that is compelling television. But the pitch that they are seeming to make off of this, and the weird part is, nothing has been confirmed. It's all conjecture. It's all speculation at this point. But when it leaked, with the loosest of terms leaked, by the way, when it leaked that these two would be in cahoots, I'm reminded of a George Carlin bit where he goes, it's a big club and you're not part of it. And this is dedicated to everybody in the comment section that has gone to bat for either of those people heavily and aggressively. They are basically joining forces. So this is like, if at the end of the press conference today, Trump and Zelensky went and made out behind the scenes, you'd be like, damn, why am I mad about this? In this particular case, Gordon and Mikey seem like adversaries on very different sides, but they're going to play nice together. And I argue maybe they're happier with each other because they understand the value each other has and that they're pushing the sport forward. But my only hope is that you get some good grapplers who get some play and attention off of this, because it seems like we're going to have to endure a lot of really dumb produced reality television conversations.
We're way over, but I have a tug pitch off something you touched on, and now don't like those words close together. Okay, I'm still gonna do my pitch though. Go ahead. My pitch. All right. So it's the Ultimate Grappler, straight up just like Ultimate Fighter format. Mikey, Gordon picking their teams. Here's the deal: Gordon can only pick natty grapplers. You know, all four of them in the sport. Mikey can only pick juiced grapplers. Whoever wins, if Mikey's guys win, Gordon has to go clean. If Gordon's guys win, Mikey has to hop on steroids. So Mikey's integrity and Gordon's success are banking on the opposite winning. Like, Mikey's got to be in the corner of this like juice head and be like, bro, just maybe add a little more. I don't like, he's got to believe in the success and the efficacy of steroids in order to not be on them. Like, this is as high stakes as it gets. Whereas Gordon, I don't know what's going to happen to his body. I assume his body's dependent on the steroids at this point, right? Like, him hopping off, the collective withdrawal might kill him. So, like, you know, his life could be on the line.
I hear this pitch. It's not bad. In fact, I'm pretty for it, especially if you get moments with Gordon being like, God, you guys would have so many better sweeps if you could just do what I do and just, I wish I could put you on it. Oh, now I have to see if I can coach without it. Like, you're taking away their secret sauce there. Man.
Gordon trying to explain how to do anything that a normal human can do. He like has no idea how to grapple if you're not on just a mountain of sauce. He's like, listen, then you just break the leg. I don't hold him down. Like,
you know, honestly, if we're going to spend any money, we should be doing this. And it says So the winner would be the Tug King. Is
God,
the comment?
Can't we? The King Tugger.
King Tug.
Listen, guys.
Chief
I like
Tug.
There's a part of me that wants to keep indulging this, and there's another part of me that says this is the world we live in. Yeah, no, it's the Tug King.
Do you remember when people would get Ultimate Fighter tattoos? Like the people that did the shows would get tough tattoos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's getting a Tug tattoo? Just go ahead and tug one out for me, buddy.
I'm a little mad that we didn't have an episode a week ago, but I've actually calmed, and this is made up for it because the extra week probably made it this kind of funny, which I think the wait was worth it. So you're welcome, audiences. Let's move to our next topic before we spend the next 10 minutes coming up with even more puns about tugs and what may or may not. But I do want to point this out. Before I do actually advance this, Tim was right. We did see this before with the Ultimate Grappler. That was the name I gave to that Who's Next show on Flow Grappling. The only difference was I didn't call it Tug. I just kept calling it the Ultimate Grappler. So someone took my joke and advanced it one more. So credit to Craig Jones or whoever Craig Jones stole that from. And you know what? Maybe I have to go check the records. Maybe I did say it. I'm going to take credit for it. All right, let's go to our next topic. Some unfortunate news. Fionn Davies, unfortunately, out of the next Fight Pass Invitational. But lo and behold, they've got a lot of really good talent. She may have fallen out in her match, but we are getting an Alex Enriquez who is going to be joining in. And why don't we go over some of the additions that have been happening or some of the notes for reasons why we're excited for the next Fight Pass Invitational. Kevin, I'll go to you first.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose Fionn Davies, it's a net loss always. There's no, among female grapplers, there's absolutely nobody that's more of a draw. Super exciting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That said, Alex is pretty fucking good. Alex is good. She gets after it. If she senses she has an edge in a match, she tends to push it. It's a solid ad. And then always you have Nikki Rod blasting people from 4 feet away, like versus a dedicated guard player you're actually going to be able to see like in their respective weight classes or collect their shared weight class. Probably like one of the best guard players, one of the best passers. I think it's a really solid matchup. It's a pretty good card. You got Achilles Hocha and Nathan Haddad. Yeah, I don't. The rest of the card, those are the two big ones that like I'm pretty excited about. I am excited to see Nathan versus Achilles. Mostly because Nathan's a super cool guy. I don't know Achilles at all, but I hope Nathan fucking destroys him. I hope Nathan gets that big come up. Like, he's an exciting grappler. He deserves that dub.
I mean, Nate, a friend of the show, so we can say that, and we can say that we're excited for him to get out there and go grapple. But I'll ask this, Tim, what are you excited about in this next Fight Pass Invitational?
Well, I am excited about Wagner Rocha coming after Kevin Sherrill now, because the last guy that talks smack remotely about Achilles ended up having to fight his dad in karate combat. You know, it's a big loss. Fornerino versus Davies was like a big deal. We talked about it when it was mentioned, and it started to shape up and look like it was going to be an all-female card from top to bottom. Unfortunately, Davies hurt her shoulder. She's out. Pulling Alex Enriquez in, what a great idea, because Enriquez is fireworks, man. She gets after it, and I think she's going to make the most of it. Fornerino's great female competitor. She's had a tremendous year last year, so I think that's a big opportunity for Alex. I think it's going to be a great match. And like you guys were saying, this card's stacked, dude. It has Nicky Rodriguez against Victor Hugo, Renato Canuto's fighting Oliver Taza. Sarah Galval, Andre Galval's daughter, is starting to make waves. We're going to see her. We're going to see Helena Krevar. So there's a lot of good matches that are going to be on this card. It would be, you know, like awesome to see Fionn there. I'm sure she'll be back. But on a secondary note, like I'm really happy for Alex that she's getting this opportunity. So I'm looking forward to watching that card. I think it's going to go over well. I think though there could be some kind of like thing like Nicky Rodriguez now is the main event on Fight Pass Invitational 10. He's the main event on the next Who's Number One. Like, it can't keep moving in this scattered direction forever where they're sharing 1 or 2 stars across all promotions. But otherwise, man, it'll be a good card.
Wow, Tim.
Yeah, I agree. Build your own stars, guys. The PGF has its own stars. Home-built, homegrown stars. Just
yeah, now they're showing up on other cards.
Yeah, now they're showing up on other cards. Yeah, listen, the PGF has shown that you can grow talent. Like, you can actually build a following. You don't need to just hire Gordon Ryan as your main event every time to have a good show. Zapatero does the same thing. Like, they kind of build up their own people. Start doing that. Stop getting Nicky Rod for everything. Let the rest of us in.
I like that both of you take the hardline stance of, hey, you can't be booked on 2 shows. How dare you? And back to back,
stop booking Nicky Rod is my stance.
Listen, Nicky Rod is a new dad. He needs to pay some bills. College
he's
may not
hurting for
even
money.
exist. You might even have to send someone to space. That's what College Fund is now. Like, when you read that Katy Perry is going to space, you think to yourself, why? She doesn't need to go to space. That's the new college.
I'll give Nicky Rod credit. If I made $1 million, you would never see me grapple again. I'm gone.
For 3 years. I think after 3 years, we'd
true.
see you back very quickly at a Naga after that.
Hey, guys, you got any more of those $1 million tournaments?
My man would be like, hey, I was told the absolute was for $1,000.
Turns out tigers are expensive.
You know how much he eats?
At least a gardener a week.
I do want to point this out. I am excited for Fight Pass Invitational. That should be next Thursday, correct?
I think so. Let me see. I'll grab the date real quick.
And it says, give us
Thursday.
an example of who, Kevin?
It's talking about PGF stars. Ernesto Rivera.
There you go. All right.
Say the name, Kevin.
I was about to say. You can't
We're
come
talking about
off
stars,
as a coward
right?
to the audience, especially
Listen,
hosts of other
man.
PGF shows. This dude hosts
David
a show called
Evers.
PGF Insiders and is like, name 1 star. And I'm like, if there were no stars, there could not be an insider show. You just be like, hey, let's look inside the mats.
Jet
I just think
Thompson.
he's trying to make Kevin say Elijah's name, and Kevin just won't.
He is. Nah.
I mean,
We're talking about stars. Elijah's never done anything outside the PGF. You can't be a star if you don't transcend the promotion.
Wow.
If nobody knows who you are, if they don't watch the PGF, you don't have any major wins outside the PGF, you're not a star.
they've created other stars. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. Jet Thompson, Ernesto Rivera, good people. People who are good at jiu-jitsu.
All right, let's move on to our next topic. Very happy for Alex. She deserves the spot. The other thing that I'm slightly bummed about on that is that was going to be, I think, the first female headliner for the Fight Pass Invitational, and we have to put it on hold. So when they bring it back, it better be the headlining match. Like, I don't want them to lose that spot because, to me, we mentioned it wasn't necessarily going to be every fight was going to be a female-oriented match, but they put together some incredible female matches on that card when they have 10 slots. And for being an organization that really wants to run with the ball, they made a pretty good argument in a short amount of time. So I'd like to see them continuing on that. All right. It looks like somebody that you see a lot in the Danaher videos has been granted an elevated status. He has been promoted. And I know for a lot of you guys, this is huge news. I can't tell you how huge news this is because people don't always know this gentleman's name. But Placido Santos is somebody who has become a household meme because of his association of being the unfortunate Uke in certain situations for the John Danaher videos. So with that, I come to you first, Tim, by asking what or who has been your favorite Uke? You yourself are a pretty notable instructor. Do you have one that you generally tend to pick, or do you have a favorite from the ones that you've seen in other videos?
Yes, I do have a favorite, and I'm going to tell you who that is. But first, I have to give props to Placido. Listen, this guy is getting fucked up by John Danaher for 7 hours every 3 weeks while Danaher churns through this BJJ Fanatics factory that he has created. And if I only tune into those videos to watch Placido, I don't tune in for John or Gordon or anybody else. I just want to see Placido. John talks so slow, and he's got him so torqued out. You look at his face and you're like, man, this guy, he literally is taking a beating. I hope he's getting some of that money that Gordon's bragging about making off those DVDs, man. I really do. Okay. Outside of that, favorite uke. I have a favorite type of uke. All right. And then I have a least favorite one. My favorite type of uke is the uke who kind of understands already what you're doing and they work with you while you're doing it to present the move in the best, most easiest way to learn as possible. My least favorite uke is the guy who thinks you demonstrating the move for the class to learn is the right time to engage in defense, counters, putting English on everything, not letting you do what you're trying to do because they know what you're trying to do. Those are the worst ukes in the world. Those guys need to be rounded up, taken out of the country. But outside of that, favorite ukes, the ones that are cooperative. Those are the ones that the instructors appreciate the most.
Thank you for that. Tim, I now turn to you, Kevin. Who are your favorite ukes?
Favorite ukes? I shouldn't even notice they exist. I'll be real with you. Like, it should be somewhere I'm talking and they're just not distracting at all. My least favorite uke is the and also guy that thinks that because you chose them as an uke, they are now deputy instructor and they would like to add to the technique. This is what you got to do. I'd rather have the guy that fights me. For sure. Most of my when I do like fundamentals class, sometimes when I do no-gi, I'll introduce a situational by doing the situational. I'll be like, yeah, so here's the thing. There's usually constraints in that situational. Somebody's freaking out in the comment section. So I'll create constraints. I'll be like, cool, this is the way we're going to play this. This is how the game works. And then I'll play it out with some blue belt. And that guy can fight me. It's like, cool, man, you can win the situational if you can. And then we play it out from there. And I like to pick somebody who's about 145 pounds, specifically bad at the thing I've chosen to do. No, I'm playing. It's bit me in the ass. It's bit me in the ass before. I've had a white belt beat me in the situational, which was really it was like, I'm going to get this arm bar. And then he escapes the arm bar. And I was like, well, fuck, that's embarrassing. So it's bit me in the ass before, but I'm going to totally ignore Raf's question for the rest of this. We're done with that. And I'm going to lore drop. So when I played the UFC video games as a kid, I used to have a striker, and when he knocked people out, you could do tattoos. I'd give him a little tattoo on his forearm. It'd be like a little skull or whatever's cool. I don't know. Whatever's specifically uncool. I don't know. And a little tattoo, and it's like kill markings, on the side of a plane. I always thought that was rad. It was like every KO, you get a little skull or you get a little whatever. I think I want to start getting a little kill marking tattoo for people I put to sleep. But not in competition, only ukes. Ukes that have gone out while I've been demonstrating a technique because they didn't tap, I get kill markings for sure. Because it's a weird number. It's not a super high number, but it's weird how often it's happened. You know what I mean? I think I've put 5 people to sleep in the last year. I know since November, I've put 4 people out while demonstrating normal shit. Guillotines. I had someone go asleep in a rear naked choke 2 weeks ago.
Asleep. They fell asleep.
He just went out. He was I was like, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fully lock up this rear naked choke. And then this guy can do whatever he wants. I'm making the point that you don't need hooks to finish it. I'm like, cool. No matter what happens, if he goes, he's the 3rd person to do this, by the way. Just that moment. I did it 3 times. He was the 3rd one. One was arm triangle. One was triangle, I think, or something, guillotine. And then he was rear naked choke. He's been training for 6 months. It's like a white belt, but it's enough to know. And then I'm like, cool, man, you can go ahead and try to escape. I take my hooks out. 15 seconds later, maybe, he's face down on the mat. And I let him go. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, why? Everyone's freaking out. I'm like, why? So I want that. I want kill markings for ukes that have chosen to go out. That's my favorite uke. He said, nah, Valhalla today.
Yeah, Kev, we've been meaning to talk with you about that. That's just assault, brother. I'm just letting you know.
One's on my Instagram.
What is on your Instagram? Is the
I taught a seminar and I talked about my guillotine, and I'm like, I have a guillotine little variation that me and my homies call the cigar cutter. And I'm like, yeah, if I get this locked up, we have this regular conversation. If you could lock up a submission and you know for sure you're going to finish it, the one you have the most confidence in on anybody in the world, you lock this shit, you get it fully locked on Gordon Ryan, right? On whoever you think is the best escape artist in the world, Alexander Volkanovski or whatever. This guy's dead, right? What's that submission? And mine's this particular guillotine. And this dude was like, cool. And he turns and he goes, you should hit it on that guy during the demo. And I was like, why? Is he really hard to guillotine? Am I about to get set up? All right, let's run it. Dude goes out in like 5 seconds. And I like out. And I was like, oh, that's why. He was like, yeah, I didn't think he'd tap. I wanted to see if it was real. I'm like, you think I'm teaching a seminar on something I haven't, like, it's not real?
Well, hold on. This took a different turn that I wasn't expecting. He was set up. So you had someone who goes, I got an issue with that dude. Can you take that guy out? And Kevin, as a bounty hunter who was unwitting to the situation, goes, why, sure, of course. Let's see. Oh, no, he's dead.
My options are yes or no, and no's not acceptable. These people paid for this seminar. I can't be like, no, trust me, it works.
Wait, hold on.
In the
3
game
minutes
of yes
ago.
and going, well, you asked for murder, yes and. Oh, no.
He agreed to be. The guy said, yeah, I'll be the UK. And I was like, okay.
Listen, man, you were talking about getting a custom tattoo to celebrate each guy you put out. This is premeditated.
Yeah, but it's their choice. I don't feel bad about it at all. They don't tap. If they choose not to tap, it's whatever.
Kevin's just over here thinking to himself, I'm Han Solo, seeing how many Ewoks I can kill, and I'm going to tattoo each one that I do. It's all good. It's great. It's fun. They're furry.
Yeah,
They're
I want kill markings for times I wasn't in a fight, They're teacher kill markings. They're for demonstrations.
Kev's going to have
These
one
are
of those
people
ones that you get when you go to, like, do Muay Thai in Thailand, and it's like, oh, is that like a very specialized, like, warrior tattoo? Nah, it's how many ukes I've killed over time. Well, I'm glad we had that. Can I just point out one thing here? Listen, I recently had a student where I was teaching something, and somebody asked, like, well, how do you do a triangle from there? And I'm like, okay. And I show him the triangle variation. My student gets up, goes to the side, and goes, Coach, I was almost out there. And I was like, no, you weren't. And he goes, I was, Coach. Man, you almost put me asleep. And I go, I guarantee you that is not the case, because 1, I have terrible triangles. 2, you got up and walked. You either go out or you don't go out, and you didn't go out. So don't tell everybody like I put you out. It's like somebody came back to life and goes, that dude killed me, except you didn't die. And he just goes, but I'm telling you, it's a really good triangle. And I was like, I know I don't have good triangles. That's why I knew you were safe. And I go, and if anything, like, what are we doing here? And I go, are you really? He goes, no, I was just impressed. And I go, oh. Well, I guess that just compliments me. So, sure, I'll take it. But that was, like, the most recent uke that I had.
You immediately lawyered up, and he was just trying to compliment you?
Dude, I need to make sure. These kids are all looking at me like you're the only person in the world who knows jiu-jitsu. So half the time I have to give them the look of, like, listen, this will work if you're good. If you're bad, probably not going to work. But in theory, same mechanics work for the best guys. That should work for you. Godspeed trying to get it on this other blue belt. That's really dicey that day. But I would tell you, my favorite ukes, though, when I'm working with guys, the one that I pick, I tend to try and find the people whose ADHD is, like, overreacting. So my way to keep them involved is to go, hi, you.
Clever.
Come be an uke here. And they go, like, what? And I go, exactly. Now I'm going to teach you the move. And then they start to get it a little bit better. But because everybody in their own way has ADHD, and I'm a trained person who has done public speaking for years, I'll be making eye contact with people. And if I see them, like, start to space out, I go, uh-oh. I think we're losing them. Hey, you come over here. And they go, oh, okay, cool. So that has been my favorite type of uke to work with, just to compare notes. Let's go to our next topic, which is Club Med. Tim, this one is confusing to me because I read it, I see it, and I don't even know what this is. But the primer says, Henner Gracie announces new Gracie medical defense. I will not speak out of turn on this. I will turn it back over to Tim.
Yeah. I'm just as confused as you. So apparently Henner and his army of folks that work for him have started this Gracie medical self-defense. So it's a self-defense protocol geared towards the medical community. So I'm assuming hospitals, doctors' offices, walk-in clinics, places like that, where they teach them some self-defense, some de-escalation techniques. All great and good stuff. I went and checked out their site and looked at their curriculum. Huge, gigantic picture of them doing safe rap. 2 dudes safe rapping a dude on a gurney. I'm just like, man, these guys they're taking it as far as they can. I think it's a great idea in principle for these people that work in these particular environments to have some kind of skill set. And I think if you teach those people, you should get paid for that, right? Of course, that's a skill that's been acquired. Not a super fan of trying to like trademark the whole idea or make it to where like they're the only ones that can do it. It's a very odd thing to me, and I'm all for making profit. I love capitalism. I love America. But at the same time, it comes off a little bit odd. You know, it's like, what's next? Is it going to be like Gracie self-defense for insurance carriers, Gracie self-defense for hot dog cart owners? It's like, come on, man. Like either jujitsu works and the self-defense stuff you already teach works or it doesn't. You know, like, do we need to keep specializing and fabricating on top of things we already know?
See, maybe we read this in different ways. You read it as self-defense for people who are in the medical profession. I just thought it was their attempt at making CBD without CBD. Like, it was their Gracie next level of merchandising, being like, you know, you can do a lot of things, but what if you get injured? And if you get injured in the middle of something, nothing is better than Gracie CBD. It has no CBD in it. But it works very well. Maybe. Not legally binding to say that. Kevin, if I come to you for this question, I don't know what I have to have you add to it, because it is an interesting concept that we are teaching, I guess, some medical professionals what it is they can do to defend themselves. Is there an underserved area? Like, is there some Waffle House employees that we should be trying to teach or educate in the arts?
They don't need training. They already got it on the job. You don't get hired there unless you know how to throw hands. I'm upset that Henner's doing this. Of course, if Henner is doing this, right, like it's super legit, perfectly legit. Definitely not a scam. Definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme for him to make a buck. This is Henner Gracie we're talking about. Integrity is the byword. I'm upset that I won't be able to beat up my urologist anymore. That's fucked up, Henner. What are you doing? I train jujitsu so that I can beat up nerds who don't train jujitsu, and now you're gonna train the nerds. Fucking insane, man. Like, what are we doing here? You know, you're giving away the game. You're giving away the game. I need them scared of me.
Let me see everybody come in real quick. So Kevin has just discovered that nerds do jiu-jitsu. This is breaking news for the many years this man has been involved. Like, he's now upset that nerds could be involved when maybe he
guys, I think there's nerds here.
He has not taken enough stock around the ukes he's killed one by one and been like, why did this dude pass out? Fucking, is he a nerd? Nah, it couldn't be. He's doing jiu-jitsu. He's a cool guy, even though he loves his anime and Pokemon. Nonetheless, let me just bring up to you guys, like, I guess something that's in a similar field that kind of caught my attention today. But it looks like the FBI wants to start getting people to train with UFC fighters. And that sounds cool. But there's a part of me that just thinks, like, I think they're in the culture of wanting to hang out. Like, this is the new Starfucker. When you see your friends being like, dude, I love I love Chama. Oh my God. Perea, I want to be his best friend. I'm like, I think I just want to let him live and be like, you're a good fighter, dude. If we run into each other, A plus. If we're friends because of it, sounds good. I don't need to run into him. I don't need to go out of my way. I think that we have some of these guys who are like, yo, I want to go train with him. Can we get the government to subsidize this? That would be really cool. Because we also want to be very efficient with our money, but like, I want to go hang out with them. Chama, come on, man. So that is what
they should try it sometime. They should try it sometime. Hanging out with UFC guys is not as fun as one might think.
I also want to point this out. So if these FBI guys are going to train, they better fucking fight. Let's get a return on investment. They don't just get to fight.
I want to see taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Your quarterly review involves a brawl.
Think about this. You put down on the fucking national debt because they got to fight each other and make them pay their own fucking medicals too. Then see how quickly they're going to be like, yeah, I want to go out there and fight. Now they're going to be like, wait, how much does this cost just to go fight? I don't think so, sir. So
I want to see a return on. I want to see Dana give him the "you want to be a fighter" speech. That's what I want to see.
You want to be a fucking FBI agent? You think it's easy? You think you just show up and solve crimes? Fuck that. You make the crimes so that you can solve them. That's what you fucking do as a real FBI agent.
I want Eddie Bravo to come in and run a 3-day seminar at Quantico.
He just talked the whole first day. The whole first day would just be him talking and telling, like, practicing his stand-up routine.
Like, you guys know, you guys did that shit.
Like, Eddie would finally be so close to getting to all the files and all the secrets he's ever wanted to know, and would probably just be doing his tight 30. And most people have a tight 5. Eddie has a tight 35-minute. And that's just warm-ups. Anyway, let's go on to our next topic, which, by the way, this one caught my attention. So it appears that Bryce Mitchell is off the upcoming karate combat match. He had a jiu-jitsu match and then mysteriously was taken off. And it did appear at the time between the video from President Awesome and Bryce that he was pulled off of this card, from their words, because they made him look too feminine. Now, granted, I'd like to know who supplied that photo, because I don't think it was Karate Combat. And it looks eerily similar to the publicity photo that is used on his UFC fight cards, which they did just announce he had another fight. Conspicuous. Nonetheless, Kevin, what make you evolve this mess? Like, what does this mean for the future of pullouts, and what are we to take away from this example?
Are we still doing phrasing?
And listen, my phrasing was perfect on that one because I handed it back to you with plenty of topics that you could have taken.
The future of pullouts is in danger, guys.
Yeah, dude.
Scramble everything.
Don't fucking hit the person that sets you up with fucking magic. You're sitting here being like, did we really do this? Yes, run with the ball. Fucking score a touchdown.
I watched the softball coming in slow motion. I'm like, surely not. He threw an underhand, right?
We had a 10-minute discussion on tug, and I said, here's one more with a different topic since we're already in that place. And I thought you'd hit it out of the park. Oh, God. And instead, you said, I'd like to catch this ball. Anybody see this?
Listen.
This was too easy of a layup.
A man who's familiar with tugs, not so much pullouts.
Dude, if Bryce Mitchell's involved, there needs to be at minimum a pullout. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't let that man procreate.
All right.
Whatever he's got can't keep spreading.
Kevin, your time is done. Tim, what do you have to say?
So, listen, there is some controversy around this. Apparently, Bryce Mitchell probably needs a handler, right? He probably needs somebody that can be like, as a representative for Bryce Mitchell, I'll be speaking for Bryce Mitchell today. But he doesn't. And so there's a lot of, speculation around this. He does have a fight coming up that was announced. He did kind of allude to it. But he also took umbrage with the photo that was used and said, look, they made me look feminine, which I think it's like such an odd thing to be really like, this is the thing that I'm going to say on my way out. Y'all made me look feminine. It's like a very weird thing to put out there in the universe, because now what's going to happen is you have 4 million people out there looking at your photo going, oh, I see it. He is kind of feminine. He does look feminine. Like you basically created the thing you're afraid of, man. But it's very odd. Entertaining, I guess, but it's like, how much can this guy do? I think people like when people speak their minds, and even if they say crazy shit, people like that too. But at a certain point, if you become a liability with the things that you say, it does hurt your economic opportunities. And, you know, as long as he keeps winning, maybe it won't be a problem, but you take 1 or 2 losses and it's not worth the squeeze. So good luck, man.
Let me just point this out. Listen, they needed an excuse to get him out because they found a fighter who was on a week before's card that said, due to the everything he said, I'm deeply offended by this dude. Give me this fight. And they said, you know what? That's not a bad idea. Let's make that fight because we can make money off of it. Why let another organization make the money that we, the UFC, can make in profiting off of this? All right, sure. Whatever. They then look, because they're like, well, we don't want to just say you pulled off of this card. We got to come up with something in our minds that's funny. So then they start looking at the joke and they go, what plays to our fan bases? Gay jokes. Done. All right. That's going to go over a major with them. And then you look at it and you see that this dude's had a history of not being okay with that language or that lifestyle. Okay. But then to create this, like, you made me look feminine, which is supposed to be this wink wink with somebody who has not been afforded the ability to go like, that dude's smart enough to wink. I get it. That's irony. Instead, it just comes off as, listen, guys, just say you're pulling him from this fucking card. Like, this is like an unnecessary step that you have to do for no reason. And I know we're trying to get out of the realm of being creative, creating continuous buzz, but that's really what it is. And to me, I just don't know what that does for us for a dude who has a history of problematic nonsense that he has been spouting. And it used to be that we had a line. I don't think we really have a line anymore where people cross it. So if they're excited to see this fight, God bless. I just knew from my point, I just always find it astounding that anytime he's about to say something, it's the Homer Simpson, oh, everybody's about to say something real stupid, let's watch. And I just think that's where people are with this. And for me, nah, we can move on. We're good. But I definitely saw it, and I thought to myself, well, it's definitely a different way of saying he got a UFC fight. And I think maybe it's okay sometimes to give bad feedback, which is, yeah, it's dumb. You don't have to do that. So thus, that is our quick little note on this one. Hey, guys. As we transition to our next topic, I don't mean to disrupt anybody here, but there is a shocking topic. Can you believe, I know it might be hard for some of you, but there is the possibility that there may have been a dive match in the ADCC. Now, hold on. Don't take me to task for coming up with fake news, the type that Bryce himself would pitch. But what if I were to tell you that a participant in one Matt Serra not only explained the process, but seemed to be bragging about the process in which maybe, just maybe, an ADCC match had been fake. So I come to you both, and I'll start with this, Tim. Would you take a dive? And if so, what would it take for you to take said dive?
Hell no, man. I suck at grappling. I would, if I got to the finals of ADCC, I would not take. I'm so pissed at Matt Serra because I'm jealous. This guy's so good that he took a dive in the finals and didn't even care. The thought never crossed his mind, I might not ever get back here again. He's like, oh, man, take a dive. Oh, sounds good to me. I'll take a dive. Like, that's wild, dude. That's insane. I wouldn't do it, perhaps, if someone's life was on the line, or maybe it was like a 7-figure monetary
No, stop it. Someone's life is on the line is the most out-of-pocket thing you've said. Like, you better grapple real well or this orphan gets it. Or somebody's on life support. There's like, boop, boop,
so if you need Tim to take a dive, do not approach him with money. Tell him you have a hostage.
Hostages.
Done.
Listen, 7 figures. I'll take a dive. Other than that, I'm not taking a dive,
Say
man.
7?
He said 7, dude.
$1 million to take
That's
a dive.
how much it's worth to me. Yes. That's how
I'm
bad
gonna
I want
undercut
that
this
plastic
man.
gold medal.
I'm going to undercut this man so hard.
By all means, Kevin, please. This is an open market.
Listen, you hand me as much money as I would have made plus $1 and tell me I won't get broken, we're probably good to go. Approaching me in the semifinals is a much better bet, right? Like, the closer I get, you got to outbid it. But like $10,001 to not actually have to grapple, I don't know, man. That sounds kind of good. I'll just spray paint that metal gold. That said, I've never actually taken a dive. So I've been approached. Never done it. Seems like a dumb idea in hindsight a couple times.
Fascinating. Interesting. All right.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd like
I'm gonna take some stabs off air.
Go for it.
I know the
man.
first one is Elijah, so that one I know for sure. All right. Let me just say this. If you're trying to ask me to take a dive, 1, have you done a proper evaluation? 2, like, maybe if you just compete, I think you're going to do okay. But 3, I find this fascinating to think if you're in a place where you have some leverage, you should be trying to get things in perpetuity. So listen, ADCC at this time, you don't know what the history is going to be, but I'm looking at it as an opportunity to be like, hey, listen, jiu-jitsu doesn't make any money. You have to give me 10% in perpetuity of all ADCC for the future. You start saying things like that and people go like, why am I asking you to take a dive? And you go, exactly. It's a fucking sporting competition. This only matters at this time to probably 10 people. And in the future, that'll grow to 100. Congrats. Right now, I'm just thinking to myself, if you're asking for people to take a dive in jiu-jitsu, like, you gotta have something else going on in your life. Like, have a kid, adopt a kid, put that kid up for ransom. Then you can get Tim to do anything you want him to do. There's a lot of stuff that you could probably do that would be, give yourself a quinceañera. That's really what you should do. Just do that. Give yourself a party. I feel like these are better money spent than you just trying to figure out, like, I really need you to take a dive for this one.
Dude, espionage here brings up a good point in the comments section.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I agree with you, man. There's just like, if you look at probably the most, we're going to ignore Gordon, the second most financially successful, he may be the first most, I don't fucking know, like, competitor in recent history, one of the most, is Craig Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Nicky Rod. Those guys have losses. Craig Jones got second twice, right? Those guys have losses. Losing in jiu-jitsu doesn't really fucking matter. Like, I don't know why you would pay someone to take a dive. I don't understand that there's payoff there. I see that Matt Serra was like in a weird spot because like probably most of his money wasn't going to be the 10 G's he got from winning ADCC, right? If you just slap him a couple of cash to like make up the difference, a couple, grand to make up the difference, he's sitting there going like, bro, I was champion of the world. I'm fighting MMA. I got a bunch of academies. I got to stay on good terms with Renzo because like it's his academy. I think he had a lot more external shit outside of that match pressuring him to take a dive if Renzo was coming to approach him. I'll tell you this. I think if my coach came to approach me about taking a dive, every time I've been approached to take a dive, it's been the other athlete. And like the other athlete or the other athlete's coach. If my coach came up to me and was like, yo, bro, it would be a good idea to take a dive, I would probably reevaluate where I'm training. Like, fuck. What? I come to you for wins, bro. What are you doing? I would feel real crazy if my coach was like making a case for the other guy. Like, hey, bro, he works real hard. He's a good guy. This might be a win he needs. You know, he may deserves it. Like, that's a little crazy. I understand he had other stuff going on. I'm not trying to dig into that life. I'm sure he's got a complex relationship with Henzo. But, like, losing doesn't matter that much in jiu-jitsu. I don't understand why you would offer someone a bribe. Also, like, how does all this happen? We have a weird sport. That's it. I can't even make sense of.
You're kind of getting me to, I think, a point that I would like to punctuate here, which is how is the bribe more expensive than the actual prize money? Like, couldn't we just take that bribe money and have made it for the competition so that maybe there's less incentive for the person to be like, I think you need to be compelled to do this. It's like, well, do you? Yeah. Because really, if you come to me with 15,000 and the top prize was 10, why shouldn't you take the dive? Like, economically speaking, it makes no sense that you would make more money off of that. And then it begs the question, why aren't we asking this guy to pay for the shit? Like, obviously, get him out of the ethics, but why the fuck why is this so important? If it was so important, you just win. And more importantly, I just think to myself, it's frustrating when you're trying to build a sport. We did get this comment, and I'll just very quickly bring it up. And it says, maybe Matt was just looking to focus on MMA, and ADCC was not the achievement it is seen as now. Got news for you. Not saying as much outside of our realm. And it says, also, he was honoring his coaches/mentors' wishes. I don't agree with taking a dive in honor of any sport, but I can see why he may have been swayed. I mean, listen, this is not to disparage you or your comment. It's more so just to think it out loud, which is your mentor, your coach comes to you and says, take a dive. And you're thinking, this isn't like a community pickup game. This is supposed to be the thing that we're trying to make be prestigious. The way it is prestigious is if there is a real winner. And more importantly, it may plague an organization or a team that in the future will have such good practitioners that they might get accused of it again. And it begs the question, did it happen again? Did it happen with that team?
Oh, it 100% happened again.
Well, hold on.
Yeah. 1,000%.
Everybody, we don't have lawyers. Just reminding you here. This is a very accusatory sort of thing to say, but allegedly it did happen again. And allegedly, yeah, for sure, people did do things that were on the brink of, if not throwing a match, definitely throwing a match. So just saying.
You never hear about this in the major sports that actually make money, right? Like, you never hear about it in fixing matches. Yes, people taking dives, right? You don't hear about teams taking dives for the Super Bowl, teams taking dives to win the NBA championship. You don't hear about like MMA title fights for the UFC that ended up being fixed. You don't really hear about it because the win means more to you than the cash. If you are a UFC champion, the amount of money you can make for the rest of your life off of that, sponsorship opportunities, whatever, all the opportunities you can get because of that are much bigger than the cash they're going to offer you, right? It's just mathematically ridiculous. The prestige matters. I think this is a byproduct of like jiu-jitsu people are broke. Jiu-jitsu people are broke. The cash that's at the top is not that high. The prestige that comes with it isn't all there. I think this is something that'll get ironed out as we get bigger, but you know, like nobody's taking a dive in the CJI final. Not going to happen. You're going to give me $1 million plus? Crazy.
Well, you say that, but there's also collusion. There could be the fact that somebody goes, hey, how much are you making? Give me 60-40 and I'll take it easy on that match. And like, I think it happens in every way, shape, and form to people who are struggling to make money, where they're just trying to figure out ways to expand that and come together and pull together. That's usually
hot take. I don't hate that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that happened in the PGF. It's happened in other tournaments where like people say, hey man, what we're going to do is we're all going to come together as athletes in this tournament and we're going to guarantee a minimum amount. Everybody's going in this tournament. At the top of the tournament, there's 40 grand. We're going to split it a certain amount of ways. Whoever wins it takes the lion's share, but we're going to make sure that like we all walk with something. It's like apparently like the final table at poker usually does this. It's like they're playing for a little bit of money, but everybody's guaranteed to walk. I actually like that. It's a moment to moment like fighters union. I think that's fair.
Kind of, except
Like-
it's fighters unions without the meetings. Like it's fighters union when it's like, well, now it's convenient to do.
Oh
The
yeah.
actual
Oh, but that's all we
organization-
are.
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you think of this and you
Selfish
realize
creatures.
It's just legitimately collective bargaining could work for a group of people until it doesn't. Like they're literally convincing themselves like we shouldn't do a union. This is stupid. But you know what we should do? We should pull together our money and divide it equally. And it's like, what the fuck? Like legitimately
To ensure that the bottom is taken care
Oh,
the bottom
God.
line is taken care of.
like
Yeah, it's a
Really,
union. But
what
like
they're doing-
we're creatures of impulse.
go ahead, Tim.
Go ahead, Kev. Go ahead. Finish your that.
No, you got it.
Oh, I would say what they're doing is they're basically telling the organization that they're fighting for that the organization itself could change their pay structure. Instead of going like, we're going to give the winner 20 G's, they can go, we're going to give the winner 7 G's. And we're going to give the second place guy 5 and the third place guy 3. And that's what they're basically going in on. But if that was the game up front, some of these athletes wouldn't do it. Payout's not high enough. I'm not interested. You pump it up,
think
and
you'd
they're
be
like, I'm in,
surprised.
and then they get in, and they're like, how do I hedge my bet? You know what? Let's manage our risk. Let's all walk away with a little something.
I think
I
you'd
don't
be
like that.
surprised. I think you'd
I'm
be
not a fan.
yeah, I mean from a spectator perspective, we don't like athletes not being willing to go all in, you know what I mean? But from like an athlete perspective, I think you'd be surprised how many people were very happy with like, okay, lower the final prize at the end, and then the number one guy's spot, and then everybody else makes an extra $2,000, $3,000, whatever. Like lower that shit and spread it out a little evenly, or even do it as like tiered, right? I make it to the playoffs, I get another bump. I make it to the semifinals, I get a little bump. Like do it tiered like that. I think you'd be surprised how many athletes would be much more into that. It would be the fans that hate it. It wouldn't be the athletes. The athletes would be like, oh, fuck yeah. Every match I win gets me another $2,000 for my final payout. Fuck it. If I lose in the finals by a point, right, off of some dumb referee call, or I lose by 20 seconds, or I lose by whatever, a ref's decision, it doesn't fuck me out of my $40K paycheck, right? It's just, still hurts. It's $5,000 or whatever. But like, yeah, I've gotten to the point where like when I'm trying to get super fights, I try to get guaranteed money because it's not in the my paycheck is not in the referee's hands. I'm getting paid.
Yeah.
If I win, maybe I get more, but I know for sure I'm getting paid. Like I think you'd be surprised how many athletes would do the tournament if you were like, hey, the biggest problem would be explaining the math to them.
Well, listen,
Yeah,
you
that won't
use
work.
math. That's your problem. Let me just bring up what I want as a TV guy. So you're mentioning the audience and how they probably don't feel good seeing this sort of a thing. Like they don't want to see that they got so invested that these athletes are making pennies if they don't win. But the big guy, they won it and they did it because they went all in and it was risky. I think audiences might be forgiving because here's the caveat as a TV guy. I say, do whatever the fuck you want, but you better fucking televise those meetings because I want to see people in there, because that's the compelling television, is watching people go like, hey, listen, dude, here's the pay structure. Here's what I think I get. I want to see people negotiating that. I feel like for those things that we've seen or heard people have done splits, it is the ambiguity where you realize like, why are they fighting? Or why does this person not like each other? And you can't put it together. I think those question marks are bigger to the audience rather than the drama that would be, if you and I go all the way, we're splitting this. Like that to me is like, all right, well then that's an accountability that makes it easier to tell a storyline. Will you ever see that? Probably not. But you will notice that there are some compelling television shows. If you guys don't watch The Traitors, please go watch it. The best reality show right now. There's a whole structure where people are supposed to lie and deceive one another. And you'll get people who get lied and deceived to who do a talking head the next day and goes, I cannot believe someone lied and deceived me on a show called The Traitors. How dare they? And you go, this is compelling television and it's amazing. I feel like the audience goes with you on that journey. It just depends on how it is communicated to them, because they think to themselves, that dude won 100K, and it's like, well, you don't know the backroom deal he struck. Then it might be a little bit different of a communication. But I will say this, if only there was a wildly popular grappling event that upped the minimum pay for all of the athletes. Well, Bougie Gatami, if only, and if only they would hire you to help out with that. But nonetheless, we press on. Tim, you found a fight for us this week. What can you tell us about this? Because people should know this. As I was putting it and testing it on air to see how it would format, Tim yelled at me to take my eyes away from it, which I have news for you, is almost near impossible as the person who makes all of this what it is. When you're like, don't look at it, I go, am I supposed to Stevie Wonder this thing into the program? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Anyway, you tell us, what can we expect from this, Tim?
This is a fight where one of the participants looks like he doesn't know how to fight, but he's been watching street fight videos all day. And then the other participant literally fights, but it looks like he's taken a vow to never raise his arms. And so they're constantly by his side. It's the oddest fighting posture that I've seen in a really, really long time. It's an outdoor fight, which I'm a big fan of, but it takes place. It's either outside of a big bank or maybe like a indoor-outdoor shopping center, maybe a casino. I can't quite get a read on it. Both gentlemen, one gentleman's in shorts and flip-flops, and the other dude, I can't tell if he has a mask on or if he has his shirt pulled up over his face or it's tucked into his mouth. He's got odd behavior in general, but I think you guys will like this. It's not long, and my wife actually showed me this one and said, I think I got something you're going to want to see. And
I love that you're getting
right.
your wife in on the responsibility of producing now. Like, I have you listed as a producer on this show, and I may need to swap her in for your spot on this. But nonetheless,
well, what I do is I force her to watch our segments. Like, if I think they're good, I'm like, you gotta watch this. Watch it right now. And then if she doesn't laugh when we're laughing, I'm like, you don't think that's funny? Like, watch it again. It's funny. Like, rewind it. It's just, yeah, I can't get any.
I'm so glad that you take it out and you're like, you better enjoy this. You better 5-star this, because this is some funny shit that we said. This bro humor better pay off. All right, I'm going to let you narrate this one. Godspeed, very excited for it. But here is this week's fight of the week, and go.
So we got flip-flop guy, really throwing hands, good kick, beating down the other dude who I don't know if he's asleep, if he has narcolepsy. I literally don't know what he's doing, but the other dude is going full pieces on him, man. He's throwing good kick and then a nice little kidney kick at the end. Great, fast little fight. Everything you want to see in a fight. I just don't understand what the guy in all black was exactly doing. Maybe you guys can help me with this.
Fair enough. I'm going to let Kevin take the next stab at this one. Kevin, this one's all yours, sir.
Man, I am so into this. Like, I can't tell because of the pixels, but like, I think I'm really seeing right here a future. God dang. It would be so cool to see this guy, like this linear fighting style. This man is born for the UFC. You got the teeps, you got the straight arms. Holy crap. Holy crap. Sorry. You got the teeps, you got the straight shots. You can tell I'm very into it. You got the viciousness, the ground and pound. This man is like one step away from being Alex Pereira. Like, we're here. He's squared up. He clearly wants nothing to do with the grappling. It's all hooks, elbows cocked out, and yet there's power. God dang. I'm sorry, he just hits him so hard. I'm always stunned by how vicious street fights get, like how much hate is involved.
Oh, yeah,
it's so emotional, man. You watch like trained fighters, and like you'll occasionally see some raw, like, oh, fuck you. But like street fights, they don't know how to temper it at all. They're not problem solving in their brain. They're fighting emotionally. It's great. For one of them, it's great.
It's definitely the hot rod. I've been drinking Green tea all goddamn day is really what that is, the expression of that. Let me walk you gentlemen through both the fight and the production notes I have on this one. All right, so first things first. Let's start off here. What you may have noticed was this dude gets kicked and has to actually grab that window / glass for support. Not a good start for him. Doesn't bode well. In fact, it may signal that he's going to have some issues standing up, but he's definitely getting the shit kicked out of him to the point where I thought that was an elbow that chimed in. Now, I don't know if you recognize that dude, but it looks like Toddy, who does work for BJJ Fanatics, kind of going a little bit nuts. And if you're seeing him come here, there's some back shots to the head, which are illegal in most forms of fighting. Street fighting. This is where I enjoyed this the most, Tim, though. Look at this. This gentleman can't decide if he wants to powerbomb him, guillotine him, or continue hitting him. Literally decides all three in one instant. Watch. You can see his thought process. Should I powerbomb? No. Guillotine. No? Fuck it. Back to hitting. And then this dude has the gifts, the physical gifts, of a young Jim Carrey. Because watch how comedically he is rubber banding all around. Now, when we talk about production notes, I want to bring to your attention here that the gentleman recording this is just kind enough to get this footage for us, but not brave enough to go past that corner. He is like, I want to stay sight unseen here.
I'm not getting it next.
I'm trying to stay alive, but the streets need to see this. So, Tim, you mentioned one point about the shirt coming up. I don't think this gentleman had any sort of responsibility for the shirt coming up or down. This gentleman was a product of his surroundings, because right here, he tries one hit and gets whomped several times.
Bro, he does. String Bean out there really does transition from the grappling to the striking seamlessly. Get this man in a gym.
Absolutely. And this is the kind of moment where, from the production side, listen, we're getting kicks here, but this is not the time to get timid with your filming. If you're seeing kicks from another human being, you have to turn the corner. You have to get us better footage, because this is how bad he's losing the fight. That this gentleman who's recording does what we like to call the civilized point down, like, oh, he really got his ass beat. I'm going to turn away. And he does that with his phone, which is like, yep. Oh, no.
I'm not going to show that.
I can't do that's mean.
I feel like I'll be an accessory to something if I film this.
Somebody put, I figured it out. It's Keith Jardine. The dude stance remind me of
It is.
It is pretty close. So we will give you that, sir. I do want to point out, we do have a couple quick little notes here. One of the comments that we got on the YouTube version, the tall version, is Waffle House is where black belts go to improve. Just from an earlier comment that we had. So I wouldn't disagree with that. Tim, you had sent me some comments as well, and I just want to ask you, sorry, I don't know what to do with this, because I don't ever like to really make fun of small personality things here, Tim, but
come on,
we need
I took my hat off. We can make fun of this.
I understand that does give us some credibility, but just look at this photo. Like, what am I supposed to do with this photo? And the weird part is when Hannibal has the hair, so it's still like open. It's there, but now he's gonna have the fake fade that's gonna come in, and I need to be prepared, because I don't want to make fun of it. It's not something I want to do. So, Tim, as the resident bald, like, what are we looking to do with that?
Well, we're
President bald.
It's Tom. Come on, bro. If it was anybody else, it wouldn't be funny. It's Tom DeBlass, dude. He's leaning in on it too, which I appreciate. He's giving day by day head updates, pictures of the head, markings on it. I mean, if you're gonna go all in, go all in.
Let me just bring up this, because now I realize why you sent me that photo is so that I could likely have this on hand as I bring in these other comments here. So this is the last thing that we're doing here today, and then we will call it a wrap. But here are the comments that go along with that. The first one, which says, or follow God's plan like me, and he wants bald. So I am bald. And man, it's easy hair days. So this dude's saying like Tom should respect the order of nature and just accept his baldness. Tim, your response?
I mean, it's a strong statement to put out there to Tom DeBlas, because Tom DeBlas is a gospel-loving Tom DeBlas. And he's like, hey, the author of the good book says, if ye are bald, ye shall be bald. Tom's like, nah, man, I'm going to Turkey.
I'm going to be honest. I think I missed that one in scripture. So I'll come back to that one a little bit later. Here's another one. It says, you couldn't get them to shorten that forehead a bit. Now, listen. Where did they put these, Tim?
Instagram. I pulled these from Tom's Instagram post.
Tom's Instagram? He's taking that like a champ,
picture.
Man. I would not have expected that.
So
I never know which Tom you're going to get. Like, he's either going to be like so good about it, such a good sport, or he's going to try and fight you.
I know.
Like, oh yeah, pull up to the gym.
Well, this one says, Professor, what's the total cost, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, this is the guy that just paid $1,500 for a 3-pack of private lessons, and he's like, wait, did I just buy a ticket to Turkey? Is that what happened?
Amazing.
That's a low-key audit right there. That is a low-key audit right there, if you don't mind me asking. He put the God bless hands.
Of course, dude, he had to. You know, when he typed that, he did the Professor. Boss, I appreciate you.
Profesh, so many questions for you. How much?
I've done this one time in my life to a black belt, and I knew I was like, this is simping. This is absolutely simping for this black belt.
Sucked up, dude.
Oh, thank you, bro.
I don't want to go that far. You know where I got mine from? But not even jiu-jitsu. Every day, Conan O'Brien used to walk out to his mark and would do this and like over exaggerate the bow to people. And I'm like, oh shit. So when people do it in jiu-jitsu, I can't help but do the Conan O'Brien version. And I'm always like, that's as much as I'm going to do. And it says, Tim, let's go to Turkey and get a group discount.
That sounds like code for some weird something stuff Bryce Mitchell would be against. Go to Turkey and get a group discount? Nah, dog. I don't know.
You trying to get a group discount? Wink, wink, wink.
That shit'll get you beat up. It's doctor, man. You can't roll up on somebody and say that. You know what I'm thinking? Turkey group discount?
I'm gonna start asking people what kind of group discount they're trying to get.
God damn it! All right.
It sounds like we're up to something way worse than you. Yeah, exactly. You like the party? You trying to get some group discounts? And they're like, whoa, what?
You ever been to Turkey?
The shadiest shit that gets saved. You know, I like to think of it like this. There's stuff that happens in the first third of the show, the second third of the show. The last third of the show is really, really a crapshoot. Because you get the fight. Who knows what that's going to look like? You don't know if we're going to have Tim agree to go with a commentator on the comment section that just goes like, hey man, you in on this? What if Tim had said yes, commentator? Like, what YouTube commentator would you have expected if Tim's like, I'm down, let's get some fucking hair on this head? Like, what kind of world would we be looking at here?
I want to start that charity. We just fly people to Turkey for their group discount hair plugs.
Oh, nice.
Be like, listen, bald people are a stain on this world. And I'm here to save you.
My wife has said many times in the past, she's like, you know what charity I want to head? I was like, what? Because she always thinks, she's like, if you ever make it big, I'm not going to work. I'm just going to do a charity. And I was like, cool. And at once she goes, I'm going to save the public libraries. And then she comes back the next day. She's like, it's not worth it. She comes up to me the next day. She goes, I'm going to do wigs for gays. And I was like, yeah. She goes, I get so embarrassed if a gay has a bad wig. Like, legitimately. And I go, oh,
secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah. So then
That's
she's
phenomenal driver for a charity.
So then she's watching the Traitors, and there's a woman who every time she sees her hair, she's like, "Oh, come on! Why did the set hate
Another
her?"
one.
And so I'm like, "Yo, she really may open that up one day." But nonetheless, it says first class on turkey hairlines.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's, you know what?
Points for that.
Yeah, all right.
I give it to him.
You know what? That's a good sign the show has gone on too long. So, gentlemen, plug your shit. I'm going to go to you first, Kevin.
Plug your shit. Hair plugs. Sponsoring me now. All right. That would actually be a really good way to go about it. You just sponsor people who have great hair and pretend it was your plugs. Just lie. Phenomenal sales tactic. Just lie. Speaking of, come see me at ATT Lean. Our memberships are phenomenal. We don't do culty shit. At Kevin Grapples on Instagram, probably somewhere else. Yeah.
Not any other accounts, because sometimes.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm trying to get Kevin Yapples going. It's like the bullpen. I always feel weird about, like, I got to, like, hide our, like, we'll collaborate on something and I'll give it like a week and then, like, I'll hide it from my profile grid because I'm like, listen, it looks like I don't grapple right now. You guys post so much more often than I do, and it just looks like I don't do jiu-jitsu. So I was like, cool, I'll do Kevin Yapples. I'll push everybody over there, and then I can do all the tag things. But then that gives me 4 Instagrams, and I don't even like having the ones I have now. So I need to get on that. Kevin Yapples.
Yes, lo and behold, we ever tell people about this show, Kevin. That is really our biggest detriment. You know, I
want y'all to tell people. That's why I, like, post it, and then I wait like a week and I hide it so that people can still see the highlights from 3 years ago when I competed.
Yeah, 3 years ago. I mean, the real answer is you need to post more independent of us. You can't just blame us. It's like, man, they're posting every week.
I don't want to battle you guys, right? Because then I'm just burying you with a different way.
You just plug your shit.
Method.
I'm not telling you, like,
That's
yo,
what I'm saying.
I put up 3.
We're just
you put up 20?
That's what I'm saying. We're going to end up in an arms race, and I'd rather not do that because I'm trying to be on Instagram less. So yeah, Kevin Yapples, and then I can repost that shit, and it just stays on there forever. Yeah.
You know what you could do, Kevin?
You could be on there less by adding another account.
You could. Hear me out here. You could just not be competitive about it. Because really, what you told us is you're like, I have a cocaine habit. Now, what I would like is for you to stop doing cocaine in front of me.
No. I want you guys to keep doing it, and I feel bad because I will not be posting. I post like once every 2 weeks or some shit. Yeah. But, like, I still need promotions to believe I am a competitor. And, like, they'll book me and shit, right? Like, I need seminars, I need whatever. If it's like all my content is commentary stuff, then, like, I'm not getting those super fights anymore. I'm not getting seminars. So I got to find some kind of balance. And instead of trying to find some balance, I'm just going to create 2 different accounts.
Listen, I got an idea. It's going to solve your problem.
Go ahead.
While you're going to all these therapist appointments and getting your back worked on and gaining weight, and it takes a lot of time, you have a phone in your hand. Post some content. Mm-hmm. Use that time to build up Kevin Grapples. Problem solved.
I found out this week or last week when I stopped training that even without training myself, me training, me going to coach it or coaching fighters, doing separate tape study or private lessons, I coach 51 hours a week. I don't want to be on my phone any more than I have to be. Fucking exhausting.
Yeah, you should make a few more accounts then. That's no problem.
Bro, I used to be in social media marketing. I hate it, dude. I hate it. I don't like it. It's like Starbucks. I don't ever want to make a Frappuccino again. I worked there for a couple of years. I don't ever want to make another Frappuccino. I bet if I worked at Subway, I'd stop eating sandwiches.
Fascinating. Tim, plug your shit.
I work at a jiu-jitsu gym and I stopped submitting people, you know?
You can catch me.
No, you know what? Do your plug over Kevin's face, because now maybe if he cuts this, you can just say, drop a mention that Kevin's looking for super fights, and then we'll see what happens from here.
Yeah, super fight. I am booking seminars. Do not hit me up.
Handsome Kevin. He's a 7 in real life when you see him. But he has the potential on any given night to be a 10 on the mats. You're a fool if you don't book him. he already told you money talks, and you could probably get him for not that much. $1 over probably will be enough to get him out there. He'll fly Spirit. Look, as long as you let him bring his cat along, he'll be a good dude. He'll be out there. He'll big it up. Book him. The guy needs work. Let's book him. We need him to keep posting on Instagram, so we need you to give him a freaking job. Let's go. Okay. Outside of that, catch me on Inside BJJ. If you're out in Nashville, come by 10th Planet Nashville. If you're in Stockton, check us out at 10th Planet Stockton. We had Kevin Crane on the show last week, and we're supposed to have Carlos Machado on Sunday. So great stuff, guys. Really fun to be here with you. Great show.
Let me just point this out. We spent so much time addressing Kevin's issues that we couldn't even acknowledge the fact that Tim looks like a rapper from a late 90s band. Like right now, you look like you could have been the DJ for Criss Cross. Like you look like you could have been the DJ at Live from the Apollo. Like you definitely have a look and feel that I had to ignore because Kevin was in the middle of I don't like social media. And I go, oh, well, we're not going to have the end of this one. But let's put it this way, kids. I'm going to put the camera on Kevin while I plug him. Look, everybody, it's Kevin Sherrill. You probably should put him on some of your super fights because if not, then he has no content to put up because Lord forbid with the 51 hours he is coaching at a gym that someone can't pick up a camera and film him and edit. It's just a lot of work. He'd rather just submit somebody on your show for a price that's kind of negotiable, but hey, let's not disrespect this man. And let's give him some money so that way, when the collective brain trust that is the bullpen here decides, hey, let's all put together a clip that Kevin doesn't be like, hey, listen, you guys put up like once a week. I'm gonna need
you guys are good at your jobs. You post well. I don't.
I was just trying to do some posting for you right now, Kevin.
It's just we don't
give me
want
access to your account.
Yeah, that's really what it is. We just don't want you to fade away and think that Kevin, just because he shows up here with us, can't go and wreck somebody on a mat. So just know you'll get good bang for your buck. Now, the issue is he's a little banged up right now, but for the right price,
I'll be good by May.
Throw a match for you sometime in May.
For the right price, I'll go in there. I will fucking pull guard with my fucked up back, and I will try to leg lock somebody or... Maybe not die trying, but I'll give it a valiant effort.
They'll be there. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. Next week, yours truly here, RAF ESPARZA, will be producing an event for Subversive. If you are in the Los Angeles area, would love to come have you check it out. It's going to be out in Long Beach, and yeah, tickets still available. Head on over to subversivebjj.com to get yours. Hopefully, we'll see you there. We'll have a very special episode where we will be talking and previewing about the next Subversive. And then it's back to business as usual here for us here at the Bullpen. Support me, Grappling Hour, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all those places, Facebook. Find us at Grappling Hour and on Patreon. $5 a month. See our interviews 30 days before everybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can support your boy. All that money goes right back into this stuff. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the Bullpen. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.